Hi, this is Donna, psychic medium and direct messenger for spirit. If this is your first episode, welcome. I invite you to listen to previous episodes where I link my guest with their loved one in the world of spirit. What started as one thing is morphing into so much more, not just for my guest, but for all of us. Thank you for listening. I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath in and out. And will you state your first name and the phrase, "It's a beautiful day"?
Joan, it's a beautiful day.
Thank you, Joan. Now will you state the first name of the loved one that you'd like to connect with?
James.
Is James your father?
No.
Your father came in before I even started this. He was very strong, a strong presence, like he came right to the center, right in front of me, between you and me. Is your father in the non-physical world?
Yes, he is.
Yes. So for my listeners, Joan and I already talked about this. Someone might come through and she is open to receive someone else besides the one she asked for. Was your father somehow involved with this person that you asked for?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because he's not saying anything, but he's making me feel like I'm a part of this too, Donna. Do you understand that statement that your father is making?
Yes, I do.
Will you state your loved one's name one more time that you wanted to connect to?
James.
James. And your dad's like, it's not like she didn't want to connect with me, Donna. And I'm like, I understand that, James. And what's your father's first name?
Ed.
Ed, I understand that. Ed, I understand that. Would you say that, I'm going to go back and forth between Ed and James, I feel. Would you say that Ed had a higher understanding of what I do in my work as a medium?
No, not at all. He was very earthly.
Very 3D. He doesn't feel that way to me right now. He comes through a lot, though, for you, doesn't he, in other readings?
No, he doesn't.
He is just making his presence so well known to me right now. And because he sits right in front of me and because he came through so quickly, it tells me he has this ability. That's why I asked. Do you think he was connecting to anyone when he was here in the physical world, to the non-physical world? Did he ever talk to you about anything like that?
No, I think that he may be coming through because lately I've been thinking about him more than I usually do.
That's interesting because my sister and I had this conversation. My sister is my editor. We had this conversation before because she had asked me, so because we're thinking about them and then they come through, is that how it works? And I said, no, typically they come through to you prior to the reading, which makes you start thinking about them.
Mhm.
And then they get validated when they come here. So it's kind of like which came first, the chicken or the egg. So he was already making his presence known. Would you say that Ed and James were of the same either family or age? I feel them very equal. Would that make sense?
They were the same family.
Were they brothers?
No,
But they were close, yes?
very, very close.
So I see them close, like together. My first thought is brothers. I'm not ready to hear what they are yet, though. Hang on. Do you think that Ed had a bigger mouth than James?
I think that they were the same big mouth people.
I feel like Ed wanted to be the first one, though. Do you understand how Ed wanted to be the first one? Maybe they were in the physical world. They were constantly not at odds, but I want to do it. No, I want to do it. No, I said it first. No, I said it first. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, they're the same in the non-physical world. But I feel James is more passive to me right now in my head. Would that make sense?
If he is, yes. He wasn't real passive. He had his own mind.
I feel that he comes in with a little softer energy, not to say that your dad is a harder energy, but your dad was like determined, I'm in here first. Do you understand?
Yes, I do. I do.
James was more the thinker, the quiet thinker. Do you understand what that means?
Yep. He's very
Introspective, yes. Like he shows me, I don't know, that statue where the guy is sitting, the thinker. I think that's what it's called, the thinker.
Yeah, it is a thinker.
That was what he showed me. And he's like nodding his head to Ed, nodding his head, saying, yep, you're right. Yep, you're right. You're right, Ed, you're right. That's exactly the way this works.
He did say that a lot. James did say that. Yep, yep, yep. You're right. You're right. Yep, you're right. Yep.
He's still doing it. Good validation, though. Thank you, James. Good one. James liked the name James, too. He didn't want you to call him Jim. He went forward by James, correct?
Yes, he did.
Because I started to say Jim, and he went, nope, James. James.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did either of these two guys have something to do with, this is interesting, a business around water?
Of water?
Let me explain more.
Okay.
Could mean either, you know, people come into your house and check your water and then put in a special filter or put in a softener, like they helped either in that regard or they were literally near the water.
They did not work with water, but James lived near the water. He lived on the beach.
Okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Did he have a business there though, James? Did he like work from home there? Was that water part of his business? Why is he, I'm hearing business and also seeing the water. Is he just mixing two things here?
No, I think he's just mixing. He loved the water. He loved the beach. But water really wasn't part of the business that they worked in.
Okay. Did they work together?
Sometimes.
That was just a question I had. That wasn't them telling me.
No, I understand.
Because I'm like, why are these guys just still so attached to each other? James, more outer perimeter in my head. Ed, like right here in front of me, so interested in what I'm saying, how I'm going to say it, whether it's going to come out correctly. Do you understand? He's like not a teacher, but he's like, he just wants to make sure, your father. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. Sure of what?
Like, was he like that in the physical world? He just wants to make sure I'm doing everything correctly.
He was very cautious. So yes.
I'll go with that, which would explain why he showed up in the center of you and I, almost protecting you
Right.
from me. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Everything in my head means something, where the soul presents themselves, what they're wearing, the way they're acting. And because he placed himself right here in the center, he's very interested in what I'm doing and what we're doing here. But I feel more in protection mode. Like, would that make sense? Like you said, cautious.
Yes, he was very cautious.
James, was he also a book learner, like very schooled?
No, actually, he had a difficult time reading.
That's why he's showing me the books then. Yes?
Yeah, yes. He was smart, but he had a difficult time. He had learning disabilities.
Ah.
I'm a special ed teacher, so I understand that.
I get it. Because when I see the book in my head, my first thought is to go to, he read a lot of books. It's good. I still have him. He's at least talking.
Yeah.
But there's that quiet sense about him also, and that could explain what you just mentioned. Was James, when I say alone, it just means he didn't have someone really close to him, either a partner or was alone for more time than he wanted to be alone. Do you understand?
Yes, he was.
Thank you. And he's telling me, I was lonely, Donna. He says, I know you say, he's talking to me, I know you say there's a difference between lonely and alone. And he's like, I was alone and I was lonely.
I believe that.
He's telling me, really, it's because I couldn't get out the words I really wanted to say to allow for that relationship. And he's putting that in quotes, relationship to come to me. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Yep.
Like he wanted it inside of him. He just couldn't put the words together. Because it feels like people, not that they judged him, but they, I want to say poo-pooed what things that he said, meaning, he said them and someone else like, oh, that's not really what you mean. Do you understand that?
Yeah, I think he was very misunderstood.
Okay. But it wasn't because he wasn't speaking. He was thinking he was speaking.
Right.
He was saying what he was meant to say, but everybody else really literally said to him, that is not what you mean. Do you understand?
Yep, I do.
Instead of saying, let's talk a little bit more about that, they just said, that's not what you mean. And they there's that poo-poo. Do you understand?
Yes.
And that, to me, would make me feel more lonely.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that he would have allowed people to know that he was lonely.
Right. While we speak, I speak to him also, and I'm saying thank you for making yourself vulnerable right here. That's important.
Yes.
It's important for him to get this off his chest. He said, Donna, I'm fine now. And thank you for saying what you said, because it helped me understand people in general. Does that make sense?
No, that doesn't make too much sense, because I think he had a good read on people.
I think what he's saying to me is more of this wider scope.
Okay.
Of really what people do, how they do what they do, that it's not any reflection on him. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Because there were moments when he took that upon himself, where he made it in himself about him, like he felt bad because he allowed that happened to him. You understand? He took it personally.
Yes, he was very sensitive.
Yes. But he also didn't have filters. He also said things that other people would have said, oh, that's not what you meant to say. Again, and another way of someone saying to him, that's not what you meant. That's what, you understand?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he didn't have very many filters.
I'm literally looking at something in this area right here that says filters.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked straight at it and he said, yep, that was me. No filters.
Right, no filters.
Did he also have, so I think I'm still going back to that water thing.
Okay.
Did he have this need to treat the planet correctly, to treat the planet well? Like maybe the whole recycling thing, he was one step beyond everybody, or the whole let's plant a tree for the planet, anything like that in his life?
Not to an extent that he would do that as a career, but I think that he did respect the planet. Yes.
A little bit more than most people, meaning he would have spoken about it. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I think he had respect for the planet, especially for the beach, the water. Yeah.
Yes, we're getting back to the water thing. And again, the reason I said it was because he was showing it more than any normal person was. Like, we all have respect for the planet, but I feel like he felt it more deeply. Do you understand?
Yes.
And there's that connection to water, which he was drawn to. He was drawn to because water is this higher vibrational thing that the planet allows us to feel. And he felt that with the water. And that makes sense.
Yeah.
To what you said.
Yeah. He had a little more empathy for mankind. I would put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Really bothered him to see homeless people.
Mm. So now you see how Dad came through with that vibration, and then James comes through with the softer vibration. It was this, to Donna, this duality, this two different aspects but they balanced each other, these two. They really had respect for each other, these two.
Mhm.
Even though it seems that Ed, had a voice about him, James also had a voice, but had a more vibrationally sound voice, even though the words didn't come out that way. Do you understand?
I do. I do, now that I think of it.
He also had a connection to higher beings, I want to say. I don't know if you can confirm this. Did he love looking at the stars? Did he always know there was something greater than ourselves out there?
I don't know if he believes that or if he thought about it a lot. I think he tried to do the right thing.
I do feel that and sense that about him at this moment, that he does understand there is more than us in the 3D world. And because you said what you said, I can only interpret right now that James is moving into this higher vibration to show me and to confirm that that is what he sees now. That is his understanding now for the soul that he is now. I'd like to thank my guest today for allowing all of us to join in on their process, their journey. And I'd like to thank you for not only listening, but coming together in a oneness vibration. Thanks again.